these vehicles, these four-wheeled vehicles. First, i10 Neos Turbo that I own. Then let's consider a Hyundai Venue entry level base model. Let's consider a CNG vehicle, maybe a Hyundai, not Venue but EXT or Exter dual CNG dual cylinder. Let's consider an electric vehicle, a Tata Tiago EV, the top end variant. And let's also consider MG Windsor, the base model, okay, EV. Let's consider these four items. So fuel type, as we know, this is petrol and this is diesel. For those of you who feel it's going slow, please convert it into 1.5x on or more so that you can follow through. And this is CNG, and this is electricity. Okay, electricity. All right. Now the fuel efficiency of my cars. This gives me 14 kmpl. Hyundai Venue diesel should be 18 overall in average on an average, and Hyundai Extra diesel I think 25 per kg of CNG. Tata Tiago EV, let's call it as the range. It would give me around 150 for 0 to 100, 100 to 0 battery charge. And the Windsor, as they claim, it should give you 300 or double the amount. So let's be a bit lenient with Windsor EV because it's a too good to be true proposition. And let's be a bit harsh on the Tata Tiago EV because I think that'll basically emerge as the winner here. So fuel efficiency, we'll calculate that. And prices of these are, let's say, okay, let's talk about the maximum distance it will do. Maximum kilometer coverage. Let's start with 1,60,000. Okay. Reason being, Tata is offering a 1,60,000 kilometer warranty on its vehicles, on its EVs. So let's take this as a reference point. Distance traveled as 1,60,000 kilometers. Now, let's consider the running costs involved. So to cover 1,60,000 kilometers, how many liters of petrol would you need? 1,60,000 divided by 14 kmpl. So these would be the figures. And let's pause it for the electric vehicles here a bit. Let's what do we do with this? Yeah, let's round figure it, remove the decimal points. Okay, FU, liters of fuel needed, and let's move forward. I'll format it a bit later. Okay, for each charge, okay, it gives you 150 kilometers. Okay, these are in kmpl. These three aspects are okay. Hold on, these two are kmpl. This is kilometer per kg, and these are kilometer per charge. Okay, so liters of fuel needed. Now the cost. Let's talk about cost. Before we talk about cost, let's talk about the how many units it would take to charge this. A Tata Tiago EV LR has a 25 kilowatt hour battery, and this Windsor EV, I've heard that it has a 38 kilowatt hour battery. Alright, so keep these things in mind. Let's keep these things in mind and then talk about charging it. So this is the liter of fuels, and let's talk about the units that it would consume. mm, units. Okay, charge cycles. This is what it would be. Equals 160 divided by, hold on, 1,60,000 divided by 150. These many charge cycles, and the same goes for this. Okay, so these are charge cycles. Mind you, these are charge cycles. I'll color code them differently so that we can see charge cycles. Let's, oops, hold on. I just wanted to remove the decimal points. For some reason, yeah, decimal points have been removed. And car model, let's call it fuel. Okay, now let's talk about the cost of running. Cost of running. Cost of running would be, let's take Neos Turbo's petrol price as 105 on an average, because to cover 1,60,000 kilometers you would have to spend at least 2 to 3 years, if not less. 105 rupees adjusted for inflation of oil prices, I think it's a fair ask. So 105 into the liters of fuel needed, that is 11,000. So this is how much it is. Let's calculate these for the others. Okay, hold on. There will be a slight change in this formula because diesel costs less. So diesel, let's consider it as 95 rupees. Okay, so this is how much it will cost. Yes, it's inconsistent, but ignore the error. And now for a kg, this is basically 6400 kgs. I think let's consider 88 as the cost of 1 kg of CNG, and this is how much it would cost. And then let's for charging cycles, for 1067 charges, as I told you, it already has 25 kilowatt hour battery, so the unit cost would be around 250 rupees here. So let's take 250 rupees, 10 rupees per unit at home. It could be less, it could be 6 rupees or even less, or you, for all I care, if you have a solar unit on top of your roof, it might be free of cost. But for the sake of the calculation, let's keep this as 10 rupees per unit. So you end up spending 250 rupees per each charge cycle for your Tata Tiago, and 380 rupees for your MG Windsor. Now let's calculate the cost of running your EV by multiplying the cost of one cycle into the number of cycles, and you have your result out here. Let's remove the decimal points once again. And let's convert this into a currency for the sake of better understanding. Format cells, currency, and there you go. So this is how much it will cost, okay, to run your vehicles. So you could right now you could see that this is very expensive. The petrol vehicle is very expensive. Diesel comes second, and third is your CNG, and fourth and fifth, or rather I would call them number one and number two, would be the EVs, giving you a pretty good range. But I'm damn sure I've been very lenient with Windsor with 300 as the range, and I've been a bit harsh with the Tiago EV long range with 150 as the range. If I could make it 190, I'm not sure if that'll change things. Yes, it would definitely change. Okay, I've kept it realistic here. Okay, and this is the amount of money it'll cost. Plus now let's consider other costs of running. So let's say, let's take for example service, or rather the purchase cost. Okay, how much would it cost? My OTR pricings. Okay, now my Neos Turbo costed me 9,50,000 on road, and that's mentioned there. Hyundai Venue Diesel, maybe a base model or a model above the base model would be 15 lakh. Can we consider that? Yeah, 15 lakhs. And then let's talk about Hyundai Extra. Maybe we could give it 11 lakhs 50,000. The top end variant with dual cylinders at the back, which frees up a little bit of boot space. Now Tiago EV LR, I think let's call it as a 12 lakh rupee car with all the visuals, with cruise control and all that stuff. Now MG Windsor, I've heard the base model is being sold at 10 lakh rupees. Let's consider 10 lakh rupees as its cost. Now let's add some more costs to it, like service cost. Okay. For the sake of simplicity in calculation, let's consider 16 services. 16 into, let's call it 8,000 rupees. Okay, for Hyundai's. I'm being a bit harsh here, but let's leave it at that. Okay, of course, I'm also being a bit harsh by not considering the first three services that are basically given free of cost, but let's call it at this. Let's add up to it. Okay, so let's consider these aspects. I think the diesels would cost us slightly bit more. Let's give it 9,000 rupees. Okay, in Hyundai. No, not a free service, that is. After, I mean, as I mentioned earlier already. Let's give the CNG a benefit of doubt, and let's consider this. The EVs, they say it'll cost less, so I would say 12, right? Sorry, 16s for each 10,000 kilometers of it being serviced. 16 into, let's make it 5,000. Okay, maybe it'll cost you 5,000 to service an EV, so we'll keep it at that. Now what else? Okay, if you bought this as on an EMI, you would end up paying some amount of interest to the banks. So let's consider 3 lakhs on a 5 lakh rupee loan in general. Okay, just forgive me, I'm just doing this in general, completely baseless, just for the sake of it. So this would be the interest part. Okay, some of you might close it early, some of you might finish the whole term, so let's leave it at that. Now let's, I think service costs and bank interest. Okay, tires. Okay, to cover 1,60,000 kilometers, you would probably go through three set of tires if you drive sanely. So each set of 4 tires would probably cost you 25,000. So let's keep 75,000 rupees as your tire cost. 3 sets of 4 tire costs. Okay, it might vary because different cars, different sizes, it might vary, but for the sake of the calculation, let's keep it this way. I'll ignore this error. Okay, now let's calculate tolls. To cover 10,000 kilometers in India, you end up paying close to 9,000 rupees. So I would say let's consider tolls as okay, to be on the safer side, you might let's consider it as a 1 lakh, okay, rupees spent on tolls, because there are times where you might take no toll roads, you might travel through small roads. Okay, so we'll give it just 1 lakh rupees out here as a weightage. And let's make all of this into currency. And total cost total cost would be equal to this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this. Whoops. Okay. Right. Hold on. I'm not yet done. I'll come to it. Let's consider all of it together once again. These many things. Let's consider resale value. The resale value of my car at 1,60,000 kilometers, junk value, the petrol car, all of them, let's give all of them 2 lakh rupees, because nobody's going to buy a 1,60,000 rupees run car in India, because we are pussies. We don't know the capabilities of an ICE engine. Well, out there abroad, people would definitely buy it, because they know if an engine is maintained well, it can continue working well beyond 5 lakh kilometers. So anyway, so resale value is this something that we will minus from this cost. And now let's take a look at this. No, this minus this. Okay, so this would be the absolute cost of covering these many kilometers. Okay, how many? 1,60,000 kilometers on your cars. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, I forgot to mention something about your MG Windsor. You are supposed to pay 3 rupees 50 paise into the number of kilometers. 1,60,000. 1,60,000. So the cost of your MG, okay, is not as simple right yet. So it would be actually 5,60,000 plus your overall cost. So that's way above, almost similar to your CNG vehicle. Okay, your CNG car would cost the same as your MG Windsor if you take that battery as a service thingy that they've started selling now. They've created something out of the thin air and they've started selling this now. So what makes more sense is your car, your Tiago EV. Okay, cost of, let's call this cost of full charge. Okay, I will continue further now. Let's format this a bit. Format this, format the whole of it. Oh, to make it look better. And the heading will be color coded again. Let's color code the heading. And now let's consider something wacky out here. I will now increase this distance from 1 lakh to how far is the moon from here? I think let's consider it as 3,60,000 kilometers or 3,80,000 kilometers. Okay, 80,000 kilometers. That's how long the moon is from Earth in terms of kilometers. So let's find out how much it would cost. Okay, so this is how long it'll take. But have we got our EV calculations correct? Yeah. The EV calculations are correct. So 20 lakh, 23 lakhs. For some reason, the higher you, let's say, hey, sorry, Even this will change. I was like, yeah. Now 3,80,000. I'm not sure if you will continue paying this to the Bajaj Finser or any other non-banking financial services. Oh my God, it's going beyond this. The more you run your Windsor EV, the more nonsense it makes to you. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's even more. It's more expensive than CNG, and it's coming third. The Windsor EV. Okay. I hope they launch the full purchase price and not this battery as a service gimmick. So to the moon and back, as per Savage Garden's song. So how much is 3,80,000 into two? To the moon and back. If you drive your car to the moon and back, 7,60,000 kilometers. That's how much distance it is from the moon and back. So how much would it cost? 70 lakhs to drive your Neos i10 turbo petrol. Diesel is 60 lakhs. And then you have 42 lakhs for the CNG. And then Tiago EV. All of this, yeah, 25 lakhs, 25. Look, the Tiago EV and the Windsor can be thrown out of. Oh, hold on, man. I still haven't updated this. This will blow it out of proportion. Let's see. 7,60,000 kilometers. You're making that company rich. The Finser or Bajaj Finser or whatever it is. 50 fucking lakhs to drive the Windsor with the battery as a service gimmick. Okay, so the cheapest here being 25 lakhs 55,000. Of course, look, there would be no resale value after these many kilometers. So let's reduce this to zero. Almost all cars, let's reduce them to zero, because the fact that the car is still standing upright at these many kilometers and still running and moving on wheels is amazing. So this is how much it would end up costing you. Okay. So still 27 lakhs to do the moon and back number of kilometers in your Tiago EV that is provided. And how many cycles is this? 4,000 cycles? 4,000 cycles? I am damn sure the battery would have been changed by then. Yeah, the battery has to be changed by then. Yeah, usually the LFP batteries have a cycle life of around uh, 3,000 charge cycles, and this is 4,000, way above that. But anyway, this was crazy ass calculation that I tried just now to give you a picture about what would cost how much. And a clear winner out here is the Tiago EV, the small one that is being used in the city. And to be honest with you guys, 7,60,000 kilometers, the Neos turbo diesel might not be able to do without an engine rebuild. The Hyundai Venue diesel might be able to do it, because I have heard about some Toyota Innovas being able to pull out 8 lakh plus, especially in the cab fleet services, being able to pull out some 8 lakh to 9 lakh kilometers on the Odo with maybe an engine rebuild or without it or whatsoever. I've heard of such things. And I'm not sure about CNG engines lasting so long. It might not last this long unless you really are keen on keeping the car and ensure the engine is changed or the head is changed, etc. As far as the EVs are concerned, since they are mechanically quite simple, there is this battery pack and the electronic control unit, and then you have your motor. I think it's easy to drive them to these distances with tire changes, etc. Of course, I haven't considered the tire changes. I think this will shoot way up. Should be probably uh, multiplied by 3 or 2 maybe, or rather, yeah, equals 75 into 3. You might need this many, you know, tires in the end. Yeah, it's increased the cost a bit. still the EV wins. And I have heard of the Teslas being able to complete 12 lakh miles on a single battery or so on and so forth. I'm not sure. It's too soon to say anything, but I hope this calculation gives you a good picture about uh, what kind of costs are involved in your mobility in and around your city and your country. Okay, in these private four wheelers that you see in the market today. This was a crazy, non-linear, and erratic calculation just for the heck of it. We could call it a back of envelope calculation too, but of course I did it in a Excel spreadsheet. But I hope it gives you a good picture about who comes out to be the clear winner out here, and that is still the EV. And MG Windsor, maybe without its crazy battery as a service gimmick, it might make some sense if you outrightly purchase it and you don't end up paying these many rupees to some non-banking financial service company. Okay, it's always better to buy it upfront, and always better to buy the battery and the car together. I'm having to say this now because of this crazy ass announcement they made. Anyway, so this is about it. This is about it. I hope you liked this calculation. Please do like, share, and subscribe.